Why is there so much hate against brown people on social media? Recently, I've seen so many videos and so many posts, whether that be on Instagram and TikTok, of successful brown people doing things with their life, whether that's a guy working out, whether that's someone doing well in their business. And every single comment is like, relax, bro, you're Indian, you're not going to achieve anything, you smell bad, and all these things, right? And it kind of gets me to really dive into the broader topic, which is the misrepresentation of South Asian and brown people, especially in social media and on media culture. All we see are like the ones that represented in the worst way, be it Apu from The Simpsons or that weird kid in that Nickelodeon show. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm so yet to see like a figure, a brown figure that is, you know, beautiful, that is strong, especially like a male figure. We're starting to see a bit more female representation in this space where they're represented in a beautiful and a great way. But still, I guess the only guy that we see now is Dev Patel. And even so, he is playing the same kind of character. Look, I wanted to be an actor when I was younger. I was really good at drama. I was really good at acting. But I didn't go into it simply because I knew I'd be always typecasted as some weird IT guy or whatever it might be. My headmaster even came up to me in school, and he went to my parents, and on the final night of school, he said to my parents, "I'll see Gareth in Bollywood one day." And it really kind of made me realize how the world, this industry, isn't ready for, you know, a brown male to be represented, and if they are, they're represented in the worst way. And we can see this trickle down into the effects of social media with young brown, you know, social media influencers trying to do their thing, and the comments just being so bad. I literally saw one this morning. It was a jacked brown guy, like he looked good, he was on shape, and there was not one positive comment inside. Literally the first comment was, bro's still Indian, so sucks to be him, right? The reason I'm sort of making this video, right, is if you're a young brown guy or a brown woman, whatever it might be, and you're trying to pursue, I guess, a non-traditional pathway, be on social media, going to the gym, whatever it might be, please keep pushing, because there's not enough of us representing this game. And I've had so many moments where I wanted to quit doing everything, quit helping the people that I help, simply because I thought I would never make it in this industry because I'm brown, right? Which is a shit limiting belief to have, but it sucks that evidence is there because of what we're seeing on comments and on social media. So I think what we need is more inspired and confident brown people to push the message more. So if you're one of them, please, please, please don't stop doing what you're doing. Join me on my mission as well to basically put brownies back on the map, because I think we can offer so much to the table. And we are so undervalued, and it's about time we start to become appreciated.
If you're Indian, South Asian, Nepalese, and you're in Australia, please shut the fuck up. Seriously, you people talk so loud, off the topic.
That's like a crazy racist thing to say, but that guy seems familiar. I feel like I know him from something. His username was something like Thomas Wong 22. Oh.
Yeah, commenter. Yeah. What do you got to say about that, commenter? Thomas Wong 22. Yeah, what do you think about this, huh?
There's no way Thomas Wong 22 spun the block on racism. It's so insane. And mind you, now he's coming after South Asians, and y'all know how I feel about South Asians. This guy's against everything I stand for. Him posting that is so crazy to me because it makes me think, I'm like, what did he actually want out of that? Like, did he expect his neighbors to like see his post and be like, oh man, you know, I'm South Asian, maybe I should quiet down a bit? Did he think that was a realistic possibility instead of people just being like, hey, my neighbor's racist? And mind you, again, it is not Thomas Wong 22's first radio, okay? He's not new to this. He's true to this. This is why I never understand hate commenting, because there was a bunch of hate comments on his page from when he called me, you know, what he called me. They're like, they won't stop. You know what I mean? The comment section is not going to stop someone from doing that sort of thing, okay? So when people like waste their energy, like going to people's comment sections and saying things, it's like, what's the point? Now, I may have gotten that comment from him and made a legendary story out of the deal. One that's on this application right here. Plug, but, you know, going to his account, hate commenting, DMing him. A lot of you don't actually get anything out of that, okay? So don't waste your time, don't waste your energy with these people. They're going to exist amongst us. It's kind of just the nature of the beast, and it's like, you kind of have to live, you know? You low-key gotta accept that there are people that are going to be like that, and it's not funny, but it's also funny a bit, okay? So if you can, you know, do something where you can make light of it, like, you know, the way I did, then, you know, have at it. But you know, when you're actually like making yourself like too angry over these things, you know, like you're actually kind of like taking it home with you, it's just not worth it at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Why is racism towards Indian people so normalized? Let's talk about it. First, I want to talk about the Great Shift Theory. If you don't know what the Great Shift Theory is, you can search it up, but here's my take on it. In my opinion, the only people who can truly say Great Shift Theory are Indian people, because, like, they're basically just, like, making a joke out of it. However, if you're not Indian and you're saying it towards another Indian person, that's just racist. Next is the fake Indian accounts. Like, I understand having a secret account to, like, stalk people, but why do you have to have an Indian man and a fake Indian name for your account? It's literally so openly racist and just, like, weird. And it's also, like, sad because you guys are using real people as faces. Like, that's not even something to joke about. Next, I want to talk about stereotypical jokes. Like, people doing this when they see someone Indian, like, that's not funny. And, like, the stereotype where they don't shower. It's genuinely not funny and just straight up offensive. This is just my take on it since I don't see a lot of people making videos like this. But that's it. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.
I don't think people realize how much Indian hate has been normalized on this platform, because tell me why. I just watched a video where people made edits about the South Asian people and their culture, and it's just filled with racism and obviously viral comment that's pretty much just punching down on Indian people's culture. I'm not just talking about trolls, I'm talking about viral videos and also comments and also trending audios that has been dominating my social media, where people just felt it's so normal to speak down on South Asian people about their culture, you know, the food, and again, harmful stereotypes that are perpetuated not to only demonize them, but portray them in a negative light. You might say, well, stereotypes exist for a reason. Well, if we're going to go by stereotypes, that means all white people are racist. You guys will be offended if I say that, right? I think it's crazy that socially people have just normalized Indian hate because they think, you know, it's not that deep, it's just a joke. Is it funny for you to make jokes that portrays negative connotation about people and their culture and their language, their food, and stereotypes about them funny? Maybe it's just me, but I've not seen a lot of people call it out, because it's not only a certain group of people that are participating in actually making jokes about Indian people, it's collectively everyone. And what's crazy in all of this, these are the same people who are being racist, you know, against South Asian people, who'll be using their culture, you know, practicing yoga, using incense, you know, going, eating out, you know, their food, and then be racist. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, I don't know about your parents, but my parents had no idea of like some of the racial stereotypes against South Asians. Like, they literally thought that all people think about Indians is that we're smart, we go to Kuman, and they think that the worst thing was that we're cheap. And I had to tell them, I was like, no, people think we smell bad and that we're curry munchers and that like all this stuff. And they were actually, they had to take a step back. Okay, so basically how this came up was my mom makes my hair oil, right? And she uses curry leaves in them, but usually it's just like a hint of curry leaf smell. Like, it's really not that strong. Like, it never stopped me before. Like, I would go to class with oil in my hair. I'd go to dinner, like casual dinners and stuff. Like, I would go run all my errands, no problem. I don't know what the hell she did this time, but she put like curry leaves and onions and like all this stuff. It smells like I took the frying pan that she cooks in and just dumped the leftover oil in my hair. Like, it's so strong that even I am drawing the line, and I'm like, I can't go out in public like this. And if you know me in real life, you know that is a very hard line for me to draw, because I go everywhere with oil in my hair. Anyways, after I put it on and I got a good old waft of it, I was like, holy shit. I was like, okay, well, I can't. I was gonna go to the gym and I was gonna go run on my errands. And I was like, I literally can't do that. I was like, I'm just gonna have to go for a walk in the neighborhood. Like, I was like, I can't go out in public like this. And she was like, why not? And I was like, dude, I was like, they're gonna call me a curry muncher and it's gonna reinforce the stereotype that all Indians smell bad. Like, I'm gonna be walking proof. I was like, I can't do that to our people. The fuck? And she was like, that's not a thing. People don't think that. And then I had to show her the comments on like people's videos and all that stuff, and now they're truly shocked. And I was like, did you guys not know that? Anyways.
5 Australian universities have banned or restricted Indian students from studying in a response to a rise in so-called fraudulent applications. Here's what's happening. So emails from Victoria University, Edith Cowan University, the University of Wollongong, Torrens Uni and Southern Cross Uni, seen by the Sydney Morning Herald, have shown that they may not consider applications from students coming from certain Indian states. And this comes after the Department of Home Affairs noticed a surge in applications from South Asia, and in fact this year is looking to be Australia's biggest highest ever annual intake of Indian students. And that's because in January 2022, the Morrison government lifted the 20-hour per week work cap, meaning there are no longer any restrictions on how many hours international students can work. John Chu from global education firm Navitas told the Sydney Morning Herald, the volume of students arriving has come back a lot stronger than anyone was expecting. And among this surge, universities have noticed an increase in applications that they say don't meet the Australian visa requirements for a genuine temporary entrant who's coming solely for education. That's either incomplete applications or applications with fraudulent information or documentation. Now, the Department of Home Affairs actually confidentially rates each country for the risk of its immigrants violating Australian entry requirements. So students coming from countries with higher risk ratings are required to provide more evidence that they won't overstay their visa or work more than they're allowed to. So why are universities restricting access for Indian students? Well, unis actually get risk ratings too, and they don't want Home Affairs looking at them too closely or considering them higher risk, because that could reduce their powers over fast-tracking their own students' visas, which would result in a financial loss. So at least these 5 universities have either placed outright bans or restrictions on student applications from some of India's most populated states, including Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan and Gujarat. Victoria University's regional recruitment manager, Alex Hanlon, wrote in an email, "In an effort to strengthen the profile of students from areas where we have seen increased visa risks, VU will implement a higher level of requirements in some areas in India." And Adelaide's Torrens University said it was now looking carefully at each area where our applications come from and considering only very strong applications from some Indian states, while the University of Wollongong has introduced a genuine temporary entrant test on students from India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Lebanon, Mongolia, Nigeria, and other countries deemed a risk by the Department of Home Affairs. But all of this came within days of Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's visit to India, where he announced a new university agreement that included a mutual recognition of qualifications between Australia and India, basically making travelling to either country for study easier. So Australian students are welcome to study in India without too much trouble, but if you're coming the other way, depending on what part of India you're from, our government and our universities aren't too sure.
Guys, I've been seeing a lot of hate towards Indian people on the internet, and I wanted to talk about it. So as a lot of you know, I'm from Canada and I live in Toronto. In Toronto, we have a lot of Indian people. And on the internet, there's been a lot of racism towards Indian people, saying they're not welcome in our country and they're being hated for no absolute reason. They're being blamed for taking jobs and being rude. But in all truth in this, these people do their jobs better than us, and that's why they deserve them. It's not like we're just giving them all our jobs. They work hard, they're very respectful and nice. Every time there's an Indian worker, they're very nice to me. And listen, these people, they come from a place where they're looking for a better life. If I was in their position and I could come to Canada, I would take it too, and you probably would as well. So stop being rude, spread positivity. These people are just trying to have a better life. Don't blame them, blame the government if you have a problem.
Sup you all, I hope you guys are doing great and thank you for coming back to my channel. So in today's video we're gonna talk about Indian fatigue. Okay, so there's a whole lot of hate that is that Indian people are receiving based on their behavior, actions in other people's countries. So yeah, just gonna talk a bit about that. I feel like India, that's one country that has always had a good PR, especially when it comes to their citizens, okay? Because we've always known Indians to be smart when it comes to fields like medicine, accounting, technology. They've always dominated those industries. And their culture, they have beautiful traditional clothes, and also that they are vegans. They don't usually eat meat, most of them, or rather let me say majority don't eat meat. So yeah, we've always known them for that. But in recent years, even when it comes to food, their hygiene is not the best. Street food mostly, they've always received hate on that. And now the Indian fatigue, a lot of people are complaining about their in fact there's a growing frustration and exhaustion by people in response to their disputive behavior and controversial practices, especially when it comes to their culture, and also not respecting other cultures, especially when they are not in India. Maybe let's take, for instance, Canada. A lot of people in Canada are complaining about how they don't adopt their Canadian ways, and they want to, how can I put this? They want their culture to dominate in Canada. They should actually leave their cultural practices in India and not bring them to Canada. That's one of the reasons. So as I was going through YouTube, I came across a video. Let me check by who so that I can give credit where it's due. It's called Toronto Unfiltered. There is someone who commented, and I would actually like to read a number of things that made people angry. Actually, yeah, behavior from Indians, by the way, that makes people angry. And yeah, let me, mind you, I will be reading. Okay, so the comment goes like, there are a few things that really bother me and makes me angry. First one, shitting on benches and everywhere outdoors. This is definitely the worst. It is disgusting, disturbing, and it is a dangerous biohazard. They should be fined huge for this one. The second one, fishing without the license or any knowledge of the rules. The third one, throwing their garbage on the ground. The fourth one, begging, scamming for money when they go around the corner and hope into a Lexus. I don't understand this one, but I bet people who stay in Canada, they can explain down in the comment section so that we can understand better. The fifth one, expecting to be able to pray in the streets, blocking traffic, or prayer during working hours while other Canadians have to actually work. It is also maddening. I feel bad for the folks who have assimilated. Feel bad for the folks who have assimilated. My suggestion is for those folks like on this video need to speak up and make this stop, or they can simply go back to wherever they came from, because clearly they don't have a problem with whatever they may be or they're doing. Don't go away mad, just go away. So yeah, that's the other. It actually got 1,900 likes, this comment, and it was pinned. Again, I got this comment from Toronto Unfiltered, if you guys want to watch the video. But yeah, those are the same reason why, child, this all Indian fatigue is happening. And yeah, hope you guys like this video. Please do like, share, comment, do all the amazing stuff. I do also have other videos regarding this topic. Please do check it out, and see you on my next one. Ciao ciao.